If a client asks you, how much is it? What would be your first response? Now, most people make the mistake of giving their price too early, which may completely kill your deal. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to handle the objection, how much is it, so that you can start turning prospects into paying customers. What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick Dang here. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's get started. Now, diving straight into how to handle the objection, how much is it? The first thing we gotta talk about is when exactly should you be revealing your price? Now, in a B2B sales environment, typically your price is going to be very flexible and will really just depend on who exactly you're selling to. And from my experience working at Oracle, at a startup, and also owning my own business, I found that if you give your price too early, a lot of times it may price you out of a deal. Instead, what you wanna do is you wanna understand the prospect's pain, understand what their budget is, or have a range of budgets so that towards the end of a sales meeting, when it's time for you to finally reveal your price, you're actually pricing it appropriately for what the prospect already expects. The problem most people have is when they give the price too early, the prospect is not in the mindset of justifying why that price may fit them, right? Because when you give the price too early, people don't really understand why they need to buy your product and service. But if you first identify pains and you understand what their problem is and how you might be able to specifically help them, now they're a little bit more price elastic. And when you finally give your price at the end, they're logically thinking, okay, well, he can solve these problems. So how much is it worth for me to make these problems go away? And how much am I willing to pay? So to boil that all down into a simple action step you can take is don't give price in the beginning, understand the pains first, and then give pricing towards the end of the call when the prospect is finally ready to hear that price. Now, in a perfect world, yes, you could give the price at the end, but the world is not perfect. And a lot of times the prospect will just ask you, what's your price? How much is it, right? They might ask you that right in the beginning. They wanna get straight to the point. Now, if you give your price too early, again, you might price yourself out the deal. But the reason for why asking for the price doesn't really make sense in the beginning is because you wanna think of it like you're a doctor and your prospect is the patient, right? If a patient comes in and they say, hey, how much is the medicine? The doctor's gonna say, well, I have no idea what illness you have or what the problem is, so I can't even prescribe you any medicine, let alone give you a pricing for something I don't know what I'm gonna prescribe, right? So it would be kind of weird if a patient asked the doctor how much is it without even knowing what they're buying. So in sales, it's the exact same thing. You haven't uncovered their pains yet. So if you haven't uncovered their pains, how do you even know what to prescribe to them from a product or service perspective, right? There's no solution if there's no pain. So that's why you need to reframe the situation, take control of the conversation, and make the prospect realize like, hey, we cannot give you pricing unless we learn more about you. And so here's how I would handle the objection. How much is it? So John, let's say, for example, says, Patrick, how much is it? And I would say something like this. Well, that's actually an interesting time to ask that question, John. Now, we do actually offer a few different services at different price points. But what we found was the best experience for our clients was that instead of just going down the list and naming every single product and service and price point, it actually makes more sense to take a little time to learn more about your businesses, what your challenges are and what your aspirations are, and to see first if whether or not we're a fit to work together. And if we find that there is a work for us to work together, then I can recommend a specific solution specifically for what you're looking for. Is that fair with you? And of course, logically, the other person's gonna say, yeah, that sounds fair, right? Because it doesn't make sense for me to, give a price if I don't know the person's problem. And if the person is aware of that and I position it and I say it in that way, they're going to automatically agree with you and then you can continue through the sales meeting. And you're not rejecting them, you're not denying them, you're logically explaining and emotionally, right? Why it makes sense to give pricing at the end. And typically most people will be okay with that, and then you learn about their pains and you see if it's a fit, and if it is, then you can give pricing towards the end. So the next step of the process is when you handle that objection, you actually have to give the price at the end, right? And this is where some people might mess up. So once you qualify the prospect, you know that they are, a good fit to actually buy whatever it is that you're selling. You have to understand what their budget is first, right? So you ask, if they have a ballpark range of, whether they're trying to invest in a solution like this, you get a range of a budget. You go, okay, I know what I'm working with. And from there, what you want to do is in the B2B environment, you have to understand that everybody is always looking for a discount, right? So, when I was working at Oracle, a startup, now I own my own business, in all different selling scenarios, people always ask me like, hey, can I get a discount? Whether it's a Fortune 500 company or, a small company, they always want a discount, and that's just human nature. So here's what you want to do to combat this. So whatever price you want to charge, you want to actually start with something like 20 or 30% higher than what you're willing to accept. So if you want to close a deal for, let's say, $10,000, right? Then what you want to do is you want to come into the deal and you say something like, hey, the price is going to be $13,000 or $12,000, right? Whatever you're comfortable with and whatever you feel is appropriate depending on the prospect's budget. So if you go 20 or 30% higher than what you want, what's going to happen is the prospect is naturally going to ask for a discount. So I say, hey, it's going to cost $12,000 for this thing. They say, okay, that sounds pretty good, but hey, Patrick, because we're a large company and blah, 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 we're gonna be spending so much money with you, can we actually get a discount? And then you say, okay, that's interesting that you would want a discount. Let me go ahead and talk it over with my team and see what we can do. So then you talk it over with your team, whatever, or you can do it all on that call. And then you say, okay, we can actually lower the price down to $11,000 if you give us XYZ. And so this is actually how you get better terms in a deal. You already know that people are always going to ask for a discount. If that's the case, then every time they ask for something, they gotta give you something in return. And that's just reciprocity, right? So if they say, hey, we wanna lower the price to $11,000, you say, okay, great. If that's the case, you gotta pay all upfront before we even get started, right? Instead of doing, let's say, a payment plan, which is what they wanted, you say, hey, I'll give you a discount of $2,000 and we'll make it $10,000 flat, but you gotta pay all upfront. Right? So you're getting better terms. So instead of having to wait for the money to come in, you get the money right away and you get the price you want, because originally you already wanted $10,000, but you came in higher, they wanted it lower, you gave them a discount, then you got something in return. It doesn't always have to be, let's say, getting paid up front. It could be different type of terms in a deal, whether it's, getting a video testimonial or maybe doing a little bit less work if you're offering a service and they get a cheaper price. It depends on every sale, really just depends, but you have to understand what are the terms of a deal that you want and how can you use pricing and the psychology behind people always wanting discounts to actually get what you want in the end. So with that said, that's gonna be how you handle the objection. How much is it? And that's also how you're gonna offer your price so that you get the best deal possible. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications if you wanna see more videos like this, and make sure you check out my other sales videos. With that said, my name is Patrick Dang, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.